The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Irons Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once more to the West Ham Massive. Thank you for joining us, and please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon and click all for alerts on new content. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this endeavour. Little bit of housekeeping before we go any further. This is not a place for the faint-hearted. We might utter the odd curse word. If this is something that's not your cup of tea, please feel free to exit stage left. Beyond this point, if you hear us say the odd curse word and you get offended, I don't give a fuck. There you go. Right. We are here to discuss Premier League match day 19 of 38. Half of the Premier League season is now complete, and we have finished this half of the Premier League campaign with a trip to the Emirates Stadium. Not a happy hunting ground for us in recent years, but we come away with a 2-0 victory. And some guy running around the pitch in 41, they didn't look very happy, but we'll get on to that. Joining me to discuss this is my younger brother, Ben. How are you, sir?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Obviously, over moon with a win, celebrating with a nice glass of wine. And all in all, so far, been a fantastic Christmas period for West Ham.
It's been a really odd month, hasn't it, December? I mean, we've gone to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've gone to the Emirates Stadium. We've hosted Manchester United. We've beaten all of those. And then we've shipped 5 against against Fulham, shipped 5 against Liverpool. Very strange month, but very overall, I think fairly satisfying. It has to be said. Hey, Mikey, hope you're well. So let's get into it. So the teams were announced at and just keep an eye on the ticker at the bottom, guys. It will change intermittently. Referees and all that jazz. So teams were announced an hour before kickoff, and I'll be honest, I had my thoughts about the starting 11. I'll get into that. But what were your thoughts when teams were announced?
I would say, obviously, it was pretty much as you'd expect. However, we thought a Gerd might be out, but there was I hadn't heard rumours that Zuma was doubtful. So to be going into a game against the team that's second in the league, away from home, that haven't lost all season, with your second string defensive pairing, then you might have thought, oh, we're in a lot of trouble here. I don't know why I didn't. Do you know what I mean? I just felt that, Ogbonna and Mavropanos, Ogbonna's got the experience. And I thought a game like Arsenal, we're going to be sitting deep, and he ain't going to be, he's going to be sitting on the edge of his box. And I thought we'd be okay. But I thought, with our attacking talent, I was quite happy with our team, and I thought we could cause them some problems, which we did.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about. I was working yesterday, so I was buzzing around doing various bits and pieces, and I hadn't really kept up to date with who sort of like was being whispered about as sort of like any injury doubts or anything like that. So if anything had cropped up, I wouldn't have been aware of it. And then obviously the team was announced an hour before kickoff, and I was at the game yesterday with Charlie Woodgate, who obviously pops up on the channel from time to time, who may be watching this either live or at a later stage. And if you are, evening Charlie, it was a good night. We both looked at the starting lineup and went, oh fuck. We sort of looked and went, Ogbonna is gonna get rinsed, absolutely rinsed. Obviously, we'll get into.
Oh, ye of little faith, Rob.
Well, yeah, have to eat my words, but that was our initial thought, both of us, I think, and I don't think us two were the only ones of the assembled or Claret and Blue thought that, or people watching at home. I think a lot of people probably had that same thought. He did prove a lot of people wrong, it has to be said. And I think a number of players could probably say that they standed up to be counted last night. So we obviously score a goal on 13 minutes, Ben. Thomas Soucek gets the goal. It was a little bit of a defensive lapse from Arsenal, but at the same time, it was persistent play from Jared Bowen. The ball gets slammed into the back of the net. There was obviously, because we was at the other end of the pitch when the goal was scored, and the goal, it seemed like an eternity. They were looking sort of like at the VAR. We didn't know initially, other than sort of like it was something to do with ball in, is it out, whatever. I've obviously seen the pictures latterly, and I don't think there's any way you can tell is the ball in or out. So if you can't definitively say it was out, then you have to sort of go with the on-field decision. The on-field decision was that the ball was in. The ball was not sort of complete. The whole of the ball has to cross the whole of the line, remember? Yeah. And the goal stood after what seemed like an eternity. But up to that point, I thought that we were coping with Arsenal. I think that they had a few little sniffs around the sort of like the penalty box, but nothing sort of like of any real significance up to that point that I can recollect. We found ourselves 1-0 up after 13 minutes. What did you think of the goal?
It was good build up from I watched it in the pub, and when it's a busy pub and you've had a few pints, so it weren't like I could really analyze the game, really in great detail. But from memory, I think it was good play from Paqueta, who let Emerson down the left. Who was so influential throughout the game. Another fantastic performance. Whipped in a lovely cross. I think Bowen's just missed it. I think it was Zinchenko gone to play it out. If I'm honest, you could look at it a million times. You wouldn't be able to say. I think it was in. I think the ball was slightly in, and I don't know where their goalie was, to be honest, mate, because Bowen's played it back across goal, and Soucek's just tapped it into an empty net. So I think it was a bit of a scrappy one in the scheme of things, but you're away at the Emirates and you've got to try and take your opportunities when you get them. And fair play to Thomas Soucek for being Johnny on the spot and being in the right place at the right time to finish it off.
In terms of the first half performance, we obviously got to 45 minutes. We had that goal intact. What were your thoughts at that point? Now, bear in mind, obviously, it also should be mentioned that in the warm-up, Lucas Paquetá was receiving some treatment. It was Pablo Fornals and Said Benrahma in front of us that were warming up quite furiously in the wake of this apparent problem with Paquetá, although he did make the starting lineup, but he lasted only the half an hour, so he didn't complete the first half. Obviously, by the time he went off, we'd had that 1-goal lead. So we've made that substitution. Said Benrahma came on for Paquetá around about the half-hour mark. But we're 1-0 up. What were your thoughts at that point?
I was fairly confident, mate. I don't know why. I think I'd had a few texts from my Arsenal mates before the game saying that they didn't feel that confident, and I think they kind of felt that they were due a bit of an off day, you know. So as the first half wore on, I think, you know, that they had 30 shots on the overall game. Yeah, if they'd have had their shooting boots on a little bit more, but it didn't. You know, even though they hit the post, bounced out, so there was a little bit of luck there. Areola had a few saves to make, but it wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was an absolute bombardment on our goal. So, you know, pretty much the game plan that Moyes had implemented had worked to a T in that first half. And you was just hoping that we might be able to nick a lead. You know, we wasn't carving them open, but you was hoping we might be able to get a set piece and get the second. And then, you know, that's what happened in the end. So, yeah, good first half performance, Rob. You know, Ogbonna and Mavropanos and everyone was just working their socks off and not really giving Arsenal the space to play balls through us. So it was the game plan was working well up to half time.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see on that graphic there, 30 shots during the course of the 90 minutes, 8 of them on target. I'll reference that again shortly because there is something that I want to sort of highlight about that particular statistic. 8 shots on target.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, something.
Go on.
I'll tell you what, Rob, I've not seen this graphic, yeah? Because sometimes you just, you know, me personally, you'll think they've had 30 shots, 8 on target. I'd be thinking there's 22 off target, yeah? But no, the stat that really springs to mind there is the 10 blocked shots. And yes. I think that was indicative of our defensive performance. Alvarez, Souček, yes, Mavropanos, Ogbonna, you know, just throwing themselves in on the edge of the box to block a shot. And I think that's the overriding thing that I'll take away from the game.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So we get into the second half, and you referenced set pieces earlier. We get 10 minutes we get a corner taken by James Ward-Prowse, rising like a salmon in the pissing down rain in North London. Was the former inhabitant of this particular neck of the woods, Konstantinos Mavropanos, who got a powerful header to the ball coming into the area. It took a nick off of the sort of like the underside of the crossbar and arrowed in, hit the back of the net. He wheels away. I think that he was a little bit reluctant to celebrate, but he looked quite happy nonetheless. 2-0 up, 10 minutes gone in the second half. Wow. I don't really have an awful lot more to say.
Yeah. I mean, I was a bit disappointed he didn't celebrate because it's not like he had a long and illustrious career at Arsenal. He hardly played a game. So if I was him, I would have been fucking, you know, jumping into the crowd. But, yeah, and I like that, Lucas. Ogbonna, yeah, I think it was like 8 years to the day that we done them 2-0 last time or something similar 8 years ago. But, Rob, that's something in the when we finished the pre-match preview, I didn't really, I thought, I forgot to say that I just felt set pieces could be really important. And that delivery from Ward-Prowse, he just whipped it in. It had so much fizz on it that any sort of contact that was heading towards goal was going to be a goal because the pace was on the ball and he couldn't have positioned it any better. I kind of feel when you hit the bar and it bounces down like that, you should get awarded 1.5 goals. You know what I mean? It's like that's even better than rippling the net, you know. So really pleased for him. Obviously, he's coming to the team, kept a couple of clean sheets. He's now got a goal. That'll do his confidence even more. Really, the world of good. And I actually think, I do genuinely think the difference between our 4 centre halves is not that much. You know, so I think anyone can come in and interchange, and our sort of level of ability isn't really dropping too much. So that was just really good to see.
That there's the momentum graphic, which I think it's fair to say is overwhelmingly dominated by the team in red. That being said, when you've come away from the opposition territory with a 2-0 win, does that bother you particularly?
No, definitely not, mate. I mean, listen, I don't know what the fuck this is. That looks like a section of the fucking Alps, and I don't really give a shit about that. I mean, there's
Only one stat that makes a difference, isn't it?
Exactly that. And I think, look, there's no point when you're at home. It'd be nice to dominate the game and have more possession and win the game. When you're going to Arsenal, there's no use playing pretty football and getting beat.
Yep.
You've got to be dogged. You've got to, momentum, possession. We controlled the game without having the ball. So
you and me both, Lucas.
Yeah, that graphic doesn't really mean an awful lot. And I think I think what proves it to me is just because I like to hear how I've been listening to a few of the Arsenal fan TV reactions, shall we say?
Oh dear.
And to be honest, most of them have been fairly respectful and said, "Fair play to West Ham. They come to us with the game plan." And Moyes was a tactical masterclass from Moyes, and Arteta just didn't have the answer.
No. Only Smarties have the answer. Oh no, that's an advert. I don't know who you are, Facebook user. I could have a look, but I can't be bothered to faff around with it. But hope you're well, Facebook user. I'm guessing it's probably someone that I'll probably find out later, and I go, oh yeah. But there you go. I don't know who you are right now. So obviously the remainder of the half played out. Obviously we was under pressure, but we, as you said, we was having players put their body on the line. Areola was making saves when the ball did get past our back line. And we obviously saw the game out 2-0. There was a penalty. By the time the penalty was given, whether it was scored, whether it wasn't, it was an irrelevance really, because there wasn't enough time left for, even if Ben Rama didn't score it, which he obviously didn't, there was no time for them to break away and sort of have any sort of comeback. It was too far gone, and basically Raya makes the save, but it was inconsequential because within seconds of the save being made, the final whistle went, and we win the game 2-0. We all went batshit, mate. We just sort of like all went berserk. Probably a fairly obvious answer to this question, but your thoughts on our second half performance?
Oh, mate, yeah, brilliant. But scored a good goal from a set piece, and real good performances all across the pitch from pretty much everyone. Pretty much everyone was sort of 8 out of 10 minimum. Fantastic, and really, at the end of the day, regardless of me saying that I think Mav and Ogbonna as two quality players, they are our second string centre half pairing. We then had our sort of star player come off injured after half an hour. So we were up against it. And I think we showed an immense amount of character to battle through those, adversity and come away with the 3 points and another clean sheet. And I'm hearing that's, 3 wins on the bounce without conceding a goal. We haven't done that in nearly 10 years. So, that's fantastic performance from the team.
So let's talk about the star men in your opinion for each team. So who was the star turn for Arsenal? We'll do them first, and then I'll get your opinion on who you thought was our man of the match.
Oh, I can't really think, mate. I genuinely don't think any of the Arsenal players had a good game. And I think if you like say listening to listening to the Arsenal fans, assessment of the game, the only one they could give any credit to was Raya, and that was for saving the penalty in the last minute. So
you didn't think that Declan Lentils had a good game, the Irish player?
No, I don't, mate. I think maybe we'll come on to that, but I think it's quite widely opinion across the board is that's Declan Rice's worst game in an Arsenal shirt.
Worst one I've seen.
And I would say, I think the occasion got to him, mate. I really do. I think the atmosphere from our guys. I think Declan Rice is a real down to earth guy, and he's not like an ice. He's not like an ice in his veins type of character. And I think the occasion got to him, and I think it affected his play. Do you know what I mean? I think he, in a way, he's got to be professional, but I don't think he really would want to play against West Ham. And I think it got to him, and I'm glad it did from a West Ham point of view.
His bottle went.
A little bit, mate. Yeah, I think I don't know if it was bottle. I think it was more concentration. I think his head. I don't think it was his heart. I think his head went a little bit yesterday, and I think listening to some of the Arsenal fucking meltdowns, the opinion from Arsenal was that Rice might as well have had a West Ham shirt on because they felt he helped us more than he helped Arsenal yesterday.
What do they want to sort of hand him back to us? Oh, that's nice of them. They're not having their 105 million back though. No refund.
So I think from Arsenal's point of view, I can't really think of a particularly good performance. They had a lot of the ball. They huffed and puffed. Odegaard, one of the guys in the chat. Odegaard probably played all right, but at the end of the day, from our point of view. Similarly, it's difficult to pinpoint one particular player because everyone had a good game. But I'd have to say the two that really, the two that spring out for me is Emerson and Alvarez. I just feel like Emerson Emerson kind of set up the goal. He won the penalty, and I think he's defensively solid and he's a great outlet in attack. Nice one, Charlie. And then Alvarez, I just feel like. We just looked at that stat in terms of blocked shots. I'd say that probably half of them might have come from Alvarez. He was just throwing himself in front of everything.
He was sensational. To be honest, I don't think there was. I mean, I think if I had to pick one weak link in the West Ham chain, it probably would be Ben Rama. But having said that, I think despite the fact that his quality in terms of retention of the ball and sort of doing what he normally does in the final third or not, that's a matter of opinion. Certainly not this season. But he worked hard. He put a shift in. I've got to give him that as a little bit of mitigation. But I just looked at it and I thought that the man of the match was this guy. I thought Alphonse Areola, when you sort of consider that they had 8 shots on target, he made 8 saves. So every shot they managed to get on target, Alphonse Areola had an answer for. I thought he was brilliant. I really do.
Yeah. I agree,
I think
mate.
he's now... He's probably for the foreseeable future with that performance, I believe, he's probably just cemented his place because obviously the last couple of weeks, I think there's been a few little questions, is it Areola? Is it Fabianski? I think last night he's sort of like, it's Alphonse Areola for the foreseeable. That's the number one.
Yeah.
And rightly so on yesterday's performance, I believe.
Yeah, Rob. In the not that I'm trying to be a smart ass, but in the preview, I actually got quite a few things right. If I'm honest, mate, I predicted that we'd beat them 2-0, and I said we'd beat them 2-0, and I said the key man will be Alphonse Areola.
I remember.
Because if you was after going to come out and get a win, the goalie's going to have a great game, and he did have a great game. Like I say, the defence was good, but when the defence was breached, that man there was standing up, and I think he's only going to get better. You know, he's at a good age for a goalie. He's got some good Premier League experience, and now he's getting I think he's getting confident. And you know, we're off the back of 3 clean sheets. So yeah, hopefully that defensive unit is on the up.
Absolutely. Was the final score a fair reflection on how the match panned out? Ha ha.
I do, yeah, I really do, mate. I think it was a great performance, great dogged, determined David Moyes style performance, and you know, I don't think anyone can say we went there and just fluked it.
No.
I think we was more, you know, I think even Arteta said it in his interview. I think he said West Ham were a better team in both boxes, so we was efficient with our chances and really determined in our defence, and I think deserved 2-0 winners.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think this will impact on our next result? And it has to be noted that whilst we were taking care of business against one half of the North London Giants, the other North London Giants were down the A23 and getting slain by the seaside by some team that have pigeons as their emblem. 4-2, who happen to be our next opponents, Brighton and Hove Albion. So do you think that this result will have any impact on that game?
Yeah, probably, mate. I think, well, look, both teams are coming into it confident. We're off the back of 3 good results and 3 clean sheets. I think it'll be a loss, Paqueta not being available. So we're going to have to shuffle the deck in the midfield. I think we're a bit light in midfield. I don't really want to see Ben Rama starting. I don't think, even though we won yesterday, I'd say he was probably the worst player. Even though he didn't play badly, everyone else outperformed him. And I feel like when given the opportunity this season, he's not taken it. So I'd like to see Moyes shuffle the pack for that game. And we can go into it and just keep the winning mentality going. It's going to be a tough game, though.
Yeah, it will be. Well, we'll obviously cover that in due course in the Brighton preview. But yeah, for now, I'm sort of enjoying the fact that we've obviously gone to a ground that we hadn't won at since the opening day of the 2015-16 season, which, as was referenced earlier, was actually the debut of Angelo Ogbonna. And we've gone there, title challenging Arsenal, and with a certain number 41 on show, £100 million plus player. And like you say, we didn't fluke it. We got that result by hard work, endeavour. And I got to say, the support was absolutely sensational from the home fans. And Charlie referenced it earlier. The support of the home fans consisted of like this opening rendition of a song that until a few months ago I'd never even fucking heard of, quite frankly, which is apparently Arsenal's anthem, North London Forever. I was like, what? What's this? But they've got this song that they sing before the game, and they sort of like they blare it out, and then you don't fucking hear a peep from the cunts. It's really quite embarrassing. And there we were, poked up in the sort of corner of the Emirates, and there was more noise coming from there than the rest of the stadium for the entire night. And the support was absolutely brilliant, and I think that played a part. I really do.
No, I agree, mate. I think you know, the players fed off the crowd and vice versa. So I think no, well done to everyone that made the trip to North London. You all done us proud, and you could really sense it when you was watching the game that we was loud and proud, and I think it affected our game positively, and Arsenal, and in particular Declan Rice, negatively. So well done.
And how nice does that table look, Ben, going into the second half of the Premier League season?
Yeah, it looks good, mate. It looks good. I mean, I'm really pleased. I mean, look, even though I was positive and predicted a 2-0 win, obviously we was up against it, and I was annoyed that we was going to finish this round of games with United above us. But obviously with the win, we've gone back above them, which they wouldn't have expected, and no one would have expected, to be honest. So look, you know, you never know what can happen. You know, I don't think we've got a lot of money in the January transfer window, but I think if we can ship a couple of players out and maybe bring a bit of quality in, who's to say we can't kick on even more? Because we're finishing this year on a real positive. So hopefully we can get even better in 2024.
Fair enough. Cool. Any final thoughts you want to get out there before we knock it on the head?
I was just making some notes before the game, before this session, Rob, and it was just one thing that I couldn't believe reading it. Right, is that Jared Bowen has scored more goals than the Arsenal front three put together. Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. Bowen scored more goals than them. That's an unbelievable stat. I mean, you know, Arsenal are challenging for the title, and listen, not that I really care an awful lot, but unless those players pick their game up, then they're not going to win it. Liverpool or City will pip them to the title, but equally, that just goes to show how well Bowen has played, and the team have supported him. So he put in a shift last night. They all did. Kudus looked so strong. You know, Kudus held the ball up, was winning battles left, right. Didn't really get an opportunity to showcase his attacking ability, but when the ball went up to him, he looked fucking strong. So yeah, well pleased with the win. Big credit to all the players and Moyes, and yeah, we've signed off 2023 on a big high.
I'll tell you what, before we knock it on the head, I'm gonna just ask a question, because obviously there's whispers. You mentioned David Moyes. There are whispers. 2.5-year contract is being rumoured to be about to be offered to David Moyes. Good move, bad move? What's your thoughts?
Well, look, football's a fickle sport.
Yeah,
I'm probably a typical football fan, and look, I think in the form we're in, you'd have to say it's a good thing. Yeah. So yeah. In the form we're in, you'd have to say it's a good thing. So yeah, let's get the deal done then. If that's the case, let's get the deal done. We're in a positive frame of mind. The performances have picked up and results have picked up. And listen, he's an experienced manager that actually he does know what he's doing. So yeah, if that's what's going to happen, let's just move forward, get the deal done, and hopefully it gives everyone even a bit more security and leads to even better things.
Thank you very much for joining me, Ben. And thank you guys watching at home, either live or whenever you choose to sit down and watch this. And please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon and click all for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this endeavor. We're going to disappear, and we wish you both a happy new year, and we will see you for the preview of the Brighton game. So yeah, just from me and Ben, thank you for all of your support in the first year of the West Ham Massive. Here's to many more, and we'll see you again down the track. Take care.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! 1, 2, 3, 4! West Ham are massive!